I finally make my grand return, and with a new project. This is the world of ARAKTA. Enjoy this little introductory presentation to it. So as many of you can tell, this project of mine is heavily inspired by things like the Monster Hunter franchise, Ark Survival, Zelda, Xenoblade, Subnautica, and I could keep going. I take inspiration from these franchises since they are basically the godfathers of fantasy world building projects. Some examples could include the stellar creature designs of monsters in Monster Hunter and Xenoblade, the deep extensive world building of Zelda and Ark, or the sheer survival instinct you experience with Subnautica. Though any of these compliments can apply to all references I mentioned. In terms of themes, ARAKTA aims to explore themes like the survival and adaptation of humans in a semi-medieval time alongside these monsters, as well as how this changes humans' evolution in this world compared to ours. Additionally, another big theme is how life would adapt in a world that could be considered outright magical or fantastical, and how these influences would integrate into the ecosystem. Furthermore, one of the most important themes of ARAKTA is how magic is not something, let's say, special. Magic requires extensive knowledge and constant training to use by humans, sort of like bodybuilding. While creatures can have magic, it does not make them more powerful than they would be. For example, ARAKTA's flagship monster, the ARAKTA, has no form of element, yet it dominates its ecosystem and opponents. Speculative evolution is of course one of the main things in ARAKTA too. Even though my speculative evolution may not be the most realistic, I definitely take pride of it and the things that come out of it. The styling of most basic monster renders, let's call them, uses my main art style when doing a creature design. Flat PNG from the side only showing the limbs of the side shown, almost like you cut them in half and took a picture of them perfectly from the side. In terms of coloring, I use a pretty harsh shading technique where you can distinguish each individual layer of shading by its color, giving it a sort of cartoony feel while still keeping the elements of the design. In terms of anatomy, the art style aims to show the main visible and recognizable features of animals through outlines. For example, I don't draw scales or individual hairs or creatures on creatures to avoid visual clutter, but I may represent them through different techniques of outlining and shading. To conclude with this section, I do icons for each creature similarly to what Monster Hunter does. That way, they have a stylish visual representation that may help distinguish silhouettes in some cases. And finally, we have one of the most important symbols for the world of ARAKTA, the Westvrel Guild symbol. This Mandela-like icon depicts the celestial element in the middle of it, the most ancient and powerful element originating from the cosmos. If you see the symbol anywhere in an image relating to ARAKTA, you can assure it means it's an official guild document. This is the map of ARAKTA's biomes and locales. For the foreseeable future, the world of ARAKTA will focus on these specific biomes and ecosystems, not including other smaller locations not indicated in the map. Let's start with FURIJA Ridge. This biome is most similar to North USA with temperate forests and conifers, decorating a semi-mountainous plains landscape along. The image you see of it right now is a recreation I did in Jurassic World Evolution 3. I will leave its workshop page link down below if you want to use it for anything. Next up is HAIKURU Islands. This is the second biome that I have done a recreation of. Its link to the workshop will also be in the description. HAIKURU Islands is a tropical island archipelago biome full of flower groves and tropical forests. The recreation shown is only one of its dozens of islands. Afterwards, we have Ayurka Mountains, a biome that is just south of FURIJA Ridge and connects through it with the mountains. The base of the mountain is filled with cold steps that connect upwards to the snowy cliffed mountains, similar to the Himalayas. This region experiences frequent lightning storms. Next up, south of Ayurka Mountains, the Grand Savanna starts, a very vast expanse of baobab forest, arid groves, and grassy plains. Most similar to the savannas of Africa, this biome has very heavy prehistoric inspiration. Going even further south, we find the Sand Seer Desert, a desert inspired by places like the Outback or the Sahara with a bit of Grand Canyon. Intriguingly, this desert has vast cavern system below it where a lot of monsters hide when it's too hot or too cold. Northwest of the Sancerre Desert are the Shroud Mist Peaks, a series of highlands most similar to Southeast Asia. With bamboo groves and a very foggy atmosphere, these peaks seem to have an anomaly where thunderstorms birth here and then travel to Majorca through the sea. Finally, that took like 15 attempts! Finally, north of the Shroud Mist Peaks is a volcanic basalt caldera region full of lava lakes, craters, and volcanoes. The Ashrend Caldera, home to many fire monsters, including the most powerful monster in all of ARAKTA. Here, dwarves collect minerals and forge them to highest quality gear. While there is many different settlements and cities in the world of ARAKTA, I will not expand upon them in this introductory video, as I want to give them their own episodes. Monster classes can be used to refer to both the biological classification of an animal or to the tier of size and/or threat the kill puts them in. For the purposes of this video, we will start with the biological classifications. Stride beasts, placental beasts with hooves, fins, or pillar-like legs and a preference for plants. Most similar to Earth's cows, deers, elephants, etc., etc. Hunter beasts, mammalian creatures specialized to fight and strategized, mostly carnivores and omnivores. Things like monkeys, big cats, big dogs, rats, bats, and even us. Saurionid, prehistoric monsters with bipedal or semi-bipedal stances, aka just hadrosaurs and theropodal dinosaurs. Bastionid, ancient creatures with quadrupedal hulking stances. Basically, just the four-legged dinosaurs, like sauropods, ceratopsians, stegosaurs, ankylosaurs, etc., etc. Serpent, slithering reptiles with two or no limbs and long slithering bodies. Sea serpents, snakes, and lindworms. We know that. Leviathan, mostly large reptilian creatures with low stances and/or long bodies, with most having aquatic features. This includes crocodilians, marine reptiles, and turtles. Drake, reptilian creatures with four limbs with wide or tall stances. This includes lizards, classical drakes, and lungs. True dragon, reptilian beasts which define draconic features. They possess four limbs and two wings, also known as the classical European dragon. Wyvern, reptilian creatures with two limbs and two wings, even though they can be vestigial, aka just classical wyverns and also pterosaurs. Ornithid, bipedal monsters with feathered coats or wings, most can fly or glide. Birds, dromaeosaurines, and other bird-like animals. Amphibous, soft-bodied quadrupedal animals with either bulky, short bodies or long slithering bodies. Frogs, toads, and salamanders. Piscidus, creatures with gills, scales, and fins that are able to use movement through liquids and solids. Owlfish. Chitaroid, beasts with no spine that have multiple limbs and chitin exoskeletons. Insects, crustaceans, arachnids, and other types of invertebrates with exoskeletons. Krakens, invertebrate creatures with no exoskeleton and soft-bodied builds. Mollusks. Now that we have concluded our section with the biological monster classes, we will carry on to each different power and/or size tier. Basal tier, very small monsters that possess little to no threat to the average commoner. Squire tier, small monsters that could be threatening to commoners but pose no threat to hunters and knights. Knight tier, medium monsters that can pose high dangers for commoners and start the true threat levels for monster slayers. Noble tier, medium to large monsters who can easily be deadly to commoners and can be a rock in a slayer's foot. Royal tier, large monsters near the top of their food chain. They pose high danger to the average slayer. Imperial tier, Larger and huge monsters that, if left unchecked and enraged, can pose threats to small kingdoms. Supremacy tier. Huge monsters that surpass the top of the food chain and become dangers to entire regions. Legendary tier. Monsters that have the power to end a major part of the world, if not all of it. These monsters are legends and myths to many. Finally, to conclude this introductory video, I'm here to tell you about the project goals that I have for the world of ARAKTA. First, I want to mention the bestiary. You see, my dad is a writer, and every year he does a small fair where he publishes one of his books. And a year he does a bestiary with my old drawings, and I was inspired to do my own bestiary from the start, of a higher quality than ever. This bestiary will be both available at the fair in my country, which I won't reveal for obvious reasons, and I will do everything possible to make it available on Amazon for all of you. There is more though. ARAKTA will have a Discord server where we can all hang out and I can give you more hands-on updates of the project. And while I don't know what specifically, I plan to make other forms of media for ARAKTA and for all of you to enjoy. Maybe even posters or something like that. But for me to do all that, I need all your support. Hopefully, we can create an amazing community where we can share this project together and with other people. Well, that has been the first introductory video of the world of ARAKTA. I hope that this has served as a worthy introduction for all of you, and that this may have piqued your interest into the project and whatever holds for it in the future. So, whether you are in the morning, on the day, on the night, this has been Tora's Art Corner, and I will see you next time, ARAKTANs.